We bought this house in 2017 for $96,000, and it's just under 800 square feet with 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and a full unfinished basement. And this is a look at the backyard. So this is what the house looked like when we first bought it. It has a very old and unstable awning that's being held up by a 2x4, a very old decaying birdhouse in the front yard. The address was very difficult to see because they were just these tiny tiles that were kind of glued onto the awning. We didn't love the landscaping that was going on in the front yard, so we decided to change that. This is the current state of the exterior part of our house. You can see that we've updated the awning. We now have like a fun orangish red metal awning. We made a custom address plaque, which is a lot easier to see now. And one of the biggest changes is we built a small porch that is on both sides of the stairs. So now when we open the front door, we can actually step aside and there's enough space to bring in the groceries, which has made life a million times easier. If you want to see more about how we updated the front porch, there's a whole video on that too. Now let's take a closer look at the backyard. So there was no fence, it was just like a little patch of grass. We decided to build a fence here. Originally, we had a couple contractors quote what the fence would cost, and it was around $3,000. So we decided to just do it ourselves. Next, we ended up adding a brick patio. So we had an area to sit or to roast marshmallows. After we put in the brick patio and the fence, we hired landscapers to add crushed pebble in the backyard and some shrubs and mulch. If you want to take a tour of our tiny backyard, just look for this thumbnail. We ended up getting a pretty good deal on this house, like under 100,000, right? Like that's pretty good. So what's the catch? Well, as soon as you walk through that door, you would be hit with the most intense cigarette smell you've ever smelled. A dive bar in the 90s, it had nothing on this house, let me tell you. Oh my God, it was so bad. And I can only imagine that everyone who came to see this house would probably walk in and then walk right back out. What we liked about it was that it was a brick house. It would be great for winter. It's like well insulated. We loved that it had high ceilings and hardwood floors. We figured we could fix the terrible cigarette smoke. We immediately tore out the carpet, removed anything that was fabric, literally anything that we could detach from the house and throw away, we did. We threw away the ceiling fan and replaced that. We had to get rid of basically everything. Even the hardwood floors, we had them refinished. Once those things were done, it decreased the amount of cigarette smoke significantly, but the walls were stained yellow. I had to take bleach water and just scrub the walls. There was yellow dripping down the walls as I was scrubbing them. That's how much nicotine and tar and cancer was on the wall. So once we got past that, we were able to repaint and update a bunch of other things. The previous owner had their living room right next to the kitchen, but in a weird way, they had the couch on one side of the house and then the TV on the other side of the house. I placed a tall bookshelf in between the living room and the workspace to try and section off the two areas a little bit so it wasn't just one long space. My poor husband, he's trying to work and I'm over here taking photos. Here's the kitchen. Notice we have some outdated appliances that are white, and then you can see here in the after, we changed out those appliances and added a backsplash. This backsplash was quite the project, let me tell you. I originally hired someone and they decided to not show up the day of the project, and since I bought everything already, I decided to just do it myself. In the future, I would like to change out the cabinets and the countertop as well as the floor in the kitchen, but that's gonna have to be a while from now. This is the only bathroom photo that exists from when our house was put on the market. There was very little floor space, so we decided to change out the sink and the toilet and add a backsplash. There's our new toilet. It's a low profile toilet from Kohler. Instead of going to buy a brand new cabinet for the bathroom, I just painted the existing one. Oh, the bedrooms. When we removed the carpet, there was actually tile underneath the carpet, and then under the tile was the hardwood floor finally. Somehow we were able to find contractors that would remove the tile to reveal the hardwood floors and then sand that down. So we were very fortunate that we were able to salvage the hardwood floors in the bedrooms. The second bedroom has had quite the transformation. We originally had it set up as a guest bedroom, but we didn't really have that many guests, so we decided to turn it into a home office instead. And I have a whole video on that as well, so just look for this thumbnail and you can see how it turned from a guest bedroom into an office.